Hey everyone, and this will be my part two of this JFK versus Nixon 1960 election. If you haven't seen part one, it didn't go according to plan. Uh, my strategy wasn't the greatest, and I would blame it on RNG for the most part. I don't know what that election was, but it was not. I felt like I made like every right choice, but again, I could be wrong on that. Maybe there were a couple choices that I made that may have led to that election outcome, but regardless, we're here yet again to win as JFK, and let's get started with that. Okay, so we're gonna pick JFK, and we're gonna have Lyndon Johnson as well as our VP. So default winner take all. It's gonna be on normal. All right. First question. What kind of tone will you attempt to set in your campaign this fall? So, I will campaign as a mainstream liberal Democrat, emphasizing key parts of our platform and pressing the case for more vigilance in our national defense. I would de emphasize the political aspect of this campaign. So, emphasize my personality, leadership ability. Of course, I'll make strong statements of the Cold War. I'll always be more on the moderate wing of the party. We are not going to do that. It is important to keep the Democrat Party moving into the future. We need to act on civil rights, education, and healthcare over the coming term. So I'm still going to make strong statements on the Cold War. So that would be my choice there. Okay. What do you have to say about the selection of Lyndon Johnson as your running mate? So we're going to say he's a loyal Southerner and a Texas senator of Texas who has spared no effort to advance the Democrat agenda. So we're going to go with that. All right. It's all red, but it's no problem. Let's look at the electoral odds here. So 125 to 398. That's not great. And popular vote is 47.9 to 51.6. All right, so let's go to Texas real quick. Let's go to Johnson's home state. All right. Do you believe that the current levels of defense spending are adequate? Adequate. Um, let's see. I believe that we need to be more vigilant in the area of defense for both military equipment and missile development. We currently have a missile gap with the Soviet Union. I think that's the best option you can pick out of these, as this one is find areas of improvement, so kind of a moderate take, and this one is basically agreeing to cooperate with the Soviet Union, which is definitely not the best choice in this election. So we're going to pick that one. There was a recent effort in Congress to pass a program to provide medical care to elderly Americans, but it was narrowly defeated. Will you make further push for this type of program as president? Um, I would say, let's see here. I would redouble our efforts. This program represented my. No, we're not going to pick that one. I prefer a slightly different program offering health insurance. No, that's a Nixon answer. This program is a good starting point, but no, that's a little too ambitious. I would redouble. Uh, I would say this. Yeah, actually, let's go with this one. This program's a good starting point. So yeah. All right. Uh, the only leaning state that we have so far, actually, no, we got Maryland as well as Arkansas. But let's go to Illinois. Illinois, here we go. We need more spending on. Oh, wait, let me read the question first. Are you satisfied with the economy and the economic policies of this country over the past 8 years? Hell no. We're not fucking happy about that shit. Okay. We're on the right track? No. We must do better? Yeah, we gotta do better. So we must do better. Our present administration has advocated hard money policy, which caused a recession of 1958, who left ideal industry, yeah, industrial capacity in our country. So yeah, that's my choice there. Is the United States adequately prepared to defend against the Soviet threat today? Hell no, we're not. We're not prepared at all. Cuba has lost to the Soviet Union, providing a potential base for communist aggression on our very doorstep. I'm very unsatisfied with the current situation. There we go. All right, perfect. So we're already doing pretty well. Let's go to California. If we could win California, that would be fucking awesome. Do you believe the United States is adequately prepared to defend against the Soviet threat over the next 10 years? Uh, let's see. I don't know, to be perfectly frank. No. I'm satisfied. Definitely not. We have a missile gap and overly tight monetary policy that's constraining our growth. I'm very concerned about these shortfalls, that these shortfalls will allow the Soviet Union to gain advantage if they're not addressed. That would be my choice there. Richard Nixon has made experience the centerpiece of his campaign. What do you have to say at this point? Um, I would say I'll bring new dynamic leadership to this country as president. I don't see how this line of argument puts me at any disadvantage. Damn. All right. Let's go to Michigan. Anti-Catholicism has been a huge issue thus far in this campaign, with hundreds of pamphlets and leaflets being distributed across the South and Midwest. Do you have any comments on this? Let's see. All right, so the choice I'll pick here, I'm going to attack. So I will attack the idea that any good Protestant would vote against my candidacy because I happen to be Catholic. Yeah, man. Come on, man. Should the United States apologize to the Soviet Union for the controversy surrounding the downed UT spy plane and surrounding espionage? No, absolutely not. We cannot show weakness in the face of the Soviet threat and Paris summit collapse. So we're going to say no on that. All right, let's go back to Texas. Did Dwight Eisenhower do the right thing when he sent federal troops to Little Rock to ensure the integration of the high school there? We're going to be moderate about this, so I believe that Eisenhower did what he had to do in this case to make sure the decisions of our Supreme Court are enforced. There have been a large number of sit-ins recently where black students and activists are sitting at whites-only lunch counters in department stores to advocate for desegregation. Do you support this movement? I would say I support this move. My move. Sorry. This movement has my full support as to other civil rights measures of our day. So I will push for civil rights as president. Yeah. All right. Here we go. I mean, like, we're doing a lot better. I mean, not entirely, but it's fluctuating back and forth. So the Nets bowling will probably be a lot better. So let's go to Minnesota. Minnesota. Here we go. All right. Anti Catholicism continues to be an issue. Major newspapers have published a statement by the 150 Protestant clergy, including Norman Vincent Peale, opposing any Catholic as president. Do you have any comments? So, choice I would pick. I would take this opportunity to make a major speech on the topic. I will address this issue exclusively in a televised speech and put it the rest for good. So that would be my option there. And of course, we're going to debate Nixon. There has been a proposal for a series of television debates between you and Kennedy. Is this something you are interested in? Of course, I would love to debate him. And so we came across as an equal, so that's pretty good. All right, we need to get Texas. All right, how the United States has the United States adequately defended against the communist threat? Would you support? Yeah. Mm, let's see. This is a situation that we need to watch carefully. I believe we need to defend South Vietnam at cost. Yeah, so that would be my choice there. We need to defend them as much as so. What is the position on power of labor unions in the United States? This is like by far the trickiest question. I'm not sure what the right question, the right answer of this would be, but I always pick the kind of the question, the answer that isn't really right because of Lyndon Johnson. So I would say no. I would say this one. All right, let's go Ohio. Do you believe that the islands of Guam and Matsu should fall within the United States defense perimeter in Asia? I do believe we should defend these islands. We are committed to defense of Taiwan, and that commitment must include of all Taiwan to be credible. So yeah, of course. So it's about education. What's your opinion on the current level of education funding in the United States? Would you increase federal education funding even if it meant higher taxes or a larger budget deficit? Education is the key front of our battle with communism and includes adequate pay and respect for our nation's teachers. I will support additional federal spending on this. So yeah, that will be my choice there. All right, we're already leaning on some of these states. That's pretty darn good. Um, let's go to Missouri. Nevada's pretty good, but let's go to Missouri. Would you support the passage of federal civil rights bill as president to address the worst excesses of segregation in the South? Um, yeah, I would say I'm supportive of civil rights bill and will work with Congress to get one written. So, oh, yeah, what would be my choice there? Do you believe that Cuba has been lost to the communists as of this time? If so, do you think it's partially the fault of the United States? Um, let's see. Yeah, so this will be my choice here. What we have unfortunately seen in Cuba is a consequence of insufficient support for anti-communist governments and movements. We need to be much more aggressive in our actions against the Castro government. So, yeah. All right, here we go. That is pretty good, actually. Okay, let's go. I want to go to Minnesota, actually. All right, do you support minimum wage of $1.25 per hour, with some exceptions for small business? Such a measure was recently defeated in Congress. Yeah, so I would say I support this measure. We believe it will be greatly beneficial to millions of Americans. So yeah, how serious at the current time do you believe the international, yeah, my bad, guys. How serious at the current time do you believe the internal communist threat is? Yeah, it is a threat. We should always be concerned about internal subversion, but the external Soviet threat should be our primary focus at this point. So that's my choice there. Damn. Holy shit. I ain't that good. Nevada. Okay. Pennsylvania. I don't want to lose Texas though. Yeah. So recently, Martin Luther King was arrested in the sit-in in Atlanta, and now has been sentenced in 4 months in prison for failing to get a Georgia driver's license after moving to the state. Do you have any comment or action you would like to take? So I would say, yeah. Lady Bird Johnson. So this is like a one-choice problem. LBJ's wife has been spat on and gathering the far-right protesters in Dallas hotel lobby. What are your thoughts? So, yeah. All right. Nice. Oh yeah. This is looking pretty good. 290 to 233. Oh man, this is looking pretty good right now. I'm feeling pretty good. All right, let's go to Oregon actually. Oh no, my bad, Washington. Okay. Where do you spend your final day in the election? Texas in the South, man. That's what we need. All right, guys, this is it. Okay, we have to do a lot better this time. There is like no doubt we done better. All right, 25% in. Nothing too crazy yet. Okay, It's somewhat Ohio, but that's to be expected. All right. Okay, Nixon won Florida. That's to be expected. Oh man. Okay. Missouri. We lost Missouri. Actually, that's not that good. Okay, we got New York. Okay, we got Texas. All right, well, we got Texas, dude. We got Nevada. Okay, we lost Minnesota, but we got Michigan. Oh my God, we lost the election, man. All right, we got Pennsylvania. Did we get New Mexico? Damn. All right, well, we did a lot better this time. It's 233 to 290, and popular vote is 49. Our Nixon won by 50.2%, and we got 49.2. Damn. All right, we were pretty close though. Let's see, Michigan 50.3 to 49.7. Pennsylvania's 50.2 to 49.8. Okay, what about like Minnesota? Yeah, roughly around the same margins there. California, it's around like 2%. Yeah, 2% difference. Uh, New Mexico is pretty close. What about Oregon? Oregon was around the same margin. Wisconsin was like pretty far gone. Illinois, okay, that one's pretty bad. We should have won Illinois at least. Illinois is probably our biggest loss if you think about it. So, all right, let's go to final results. All right, so we lost again. We were pretty close to the popular vote. Actually, no, we were shy of like 600,000, but we did a lot better this time. Third time's a charm. All right, see you in the next video.